We've all lived through it. The countdown hits 0, the room erupts, and instead of a cinematic New Year's kiss, your brain misfires. You reach out and shake her hand, firmly, like you're finalizing a mortgage. For 21-year-old Tim, this is the standard setting for his social life. But the next morning, his father reveals a family secret that changes everything. The men in their lineage have the ability to move backward through their own lives. The process is intimate and low-tech. Find a dark space, clench your fists, and picture the moment you want to revisit. Suddenly, Tim has a way to scrub away his social friction. He can rewind a stutter, retract a bad joke, and sand down the rough edges of his personality until he's flawlessly charming. His first priority is using this advantage to find a girlfriend. A thoughtful pause. Tim is effectively building a version of himself that has never failed. But a life without friction is a life without weight. He's about to find out if a curated reality can actually sustain a real human connection. Tim puts his theory to the test when a house guest named Charlotte stays with the family for the summer. He treats the entire holiday like a rough draft. If he spills a drink or makes a clumsy comment, he resets the day to execute a perfect recovery. He spends months fine-tuning every joke and look to ensure he is exactly who he thinks she wants him to be. It doesn't work. When he finally confesses his feelings, Charlotte rejects him. He rewinds the entire summer and tries a different approach, but the result is identical. Charlotte simply isn't into him. Tim discovers the first hard limit of the timeline. Moving through time is a mechanical process, but it cannot force a spark that isn't there. No amount of editing can override another person's free will. Tim eventually leaves Cornwall for the grey, crowded streets of London, where life adds new layers of complication. It's here, in a pitch-black restaurant, that he connects with a woman named Mary. Without the pressure of eye contact, they talk for hours, establishing a genuine bond in the dark. But that connection is erased in an instant. Tim travels back a few hours to help his roommate save a failing play, and by the time he returns to the present, his meeting with Mary never happened. The physics of the timeline are interconnected. Intervening in one thread of the past inevitably unravels the next, proving that time is a zero-sum game. Desperate to reinsert himself into her life, Tim leans on a specific detail from their lost conversation: Mary's fixation on the model Kate Moss. He waits at a photography exhibit for days, hoping to encounter her before she meets someone else. He manages to restart their relationship, but the experience leaves him wary. Every intervention carries an unpredictable transactional cost. The stakes move from personal happiness to survival when Tim's sister, Kit Kat, is nearly killed in a car crash. Tim uses his power to go back years, violently preventing the toxic relationship that led to her drinking. He saves his sister, but returning home finds a different child. His daughter Posey is replaced by a stranger. This is the childbirth lock. Even a microscopic shift in the past changes the exact moment of conception. Change the timing, change the person. Tim is forced into a choice between two lives. He can protect his sister from her trauma, or he can let her suffer so that his daughter remains in existence. He ultimately reverses his rescue, coming to the heartbreaking realization that you cannot isolate a single thread of pain. If you erase the suffering of the past, you also erase the people who were born from it. As Tim's father reaches the end of his life, Tim uses his ability to linger in the past, revisiting random days before the terminal diagnosis just to spend time together. The conflict arises when Tim and Mary decide to have a third child. Because of the childbirth lock, the arrival of a new life will act as a temporal anchor. Once that child is conceived, Tim can never travel back to a time before that moment without erasing them. It means saying goodbye to his father forever. To walk into the future and embrace a new life, he has to stop looking back and let the past go. Tim takes one last trip back to a childhood memory on a Cornwall beach. He walks with his father one final time, not to change anything, but simply to exist in that moment before returning to the present. When he returns, he stops. He walks past the dark closets and the cupboards. He stops trying to control the universe and lets the days happen as they are. He realizes the most effective way to live is to treat every ordinary, flawed day as if he had already traveled back to it, not to fix the mistakes, but to notice the world he was too busy to see the first time. We are all traveling through time together, one day at a time, and since it's a one-way street, the messy, unedited present is the only genuine magic we possess.